a vision for next July. Let's assume there's an effective COVID-19 vaccine available January 2021. What does the workplace look like next July? Are we still mostly remote? Are we back to where we were in February in 2020? What's different? What sticks? What returns? Topi, you go first on this one. And if others need to reflect, do reflect.
I can take this one. And actually, I know Missy as well. So Missy, thank you for the question. That's really, really cool. I think when I think next year, what does the workplace look like? I actually hope, I pray that there is no difference between a physical and a virtual space. Within Craft Times, like I talk about digital workspace as opposed to place. And I use the word space very intentionally because space being borderless, timeless, no concept of light, dark, whatever. I love the idea of people moving through a space kind of really seamless. So for me, that is success. Whether we're in a physical location or we're in a virtual location, we're able to collaborate, share knowledge, and share ideas in an effective way.
That's great. All right, I'm sorry, let me keep it going to Todd. I needed to break in there. Sorry, Topi, thank you for that.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, no, and Topi, I love that answer. And I think a big part of this is how do we frame this as an employee-centered conversation? So I think that is the piece that to the extent that we can emerge out of this and have a different view of, in some ways, offices, the physicality of that is sort of the blunt instrument. It's like by virtue of us sort of physically being together, we're going to figure out how to work together. But it's arguably a lagging indicator, not a leading indicator. I think the leading indicator is sort of the environment that we create relationally with each other. And I like the idea, talking about this as spaces and ultimately sort of building boundaries around how we protect those spaces virtually so that we can sort of find this integration with home and life and all these other things that are coming at us. But I think in July, I think it looks like a more employee-centered model for allowing diversity of working styles to show up, and people that need the physical kind of engagement coming into a place are afforded that. Those that need sort of a virtual experience are afforded that as well, and that proximity doesn't sort of determine productivity. And I think that's a big thing that ultimately I look at that sort of Shivani's point, the democratization of this effort. Hopefully, if we can make that true, it opens up opportunity for those that haven't historically had the same opportunity as well.
Okay, thank you, Todd and Topi. Let me go to Sean next. Sean, you're muted. Come on off.
Sure.
Yeah, I know you're virtual a lot of the time. You've got a worldwide team working for you, but what does it look like next July?
Well, I have to say that VMware is a Bay Area technology company, and I think for a lot of the companies that are based in the Bay Area, there's a certain amount of implied bias in hiring practices that are focused on people that are operating near headquarter locations or people that are operating near hub locations. Like we have development offices in India and hiring people that are in and around those development offices. What I think is interesting about COVID is it's allowing people to recognize that a truly distributed workforce can actually work, and in some cases can be as productive, if not more productive, than having those people in centralized locations. And so I think that in some ways this helps to resolve that bias that hiring managers have, where they say this person has to be in the office where I can see them and we can participate in face-to-face meetings, and it simplifies some of that. What I think this does from a talent pool point of view is two things. One, it enables organizations to find talent, the best talent, wherever they are in the world, without concern of whether or not they are within 30-mile proximity of the office that you can sit with the person and work with them. I think the second thing it does is it actually changes the standard of living for a lot of the workers. If you look at a market like New York and financial services, all the people that live in Manhattan and pay insanely high cost of living to be able to be near their job. Imagine that they can get paid the same or similar amount of money, but live wherever they choose. It completely changes the job market and the opportunity that are afforded to workers. So I think to answer the original question you asked, what does the job market look like in a year from now if a vaccine comes? First of all, I think most organizations have operated in kind of an 80-20 working relationship where 80% of the people are in some corporate office and 20% of the people are remote. My theory is that come a year from now, most organizations are looking at a 50-50 or even 60-40 or 70-30 distributed workforce versus centralized. That's going to pose some real challenges for the corporate real estate market, but that was already kind of happening anyway.
All right, look, thank you for that. Let me go, Shivani, now you've got that Accenture Tower, you're all consolidating. I think you're gonna even have your name on the top, and you've got 500,000 people that are all virtual right now. What's it like if there's a vaccine and we're here in July next year?
Yeah, so a lot of the things that the three of our other panelists talked about, right? Spot on. All of that is very much valid even for Accenture and what we're seeing with our clients. But there are a couple of other things I'd like to add on top of that, right? One is I think what is going to become more important in July of next year is skill set relevance. And what I mean by that, from workers to executives, we are seeing a whole shift and pivot to embracing this new skilling and new skill set, especially middle skilled workers, as we call them, right? Those who have more than a high school diploma, but less than a university degree, they are particularly at risk for kind of displacement. So globally, we are seeing kind of a hollowing out of our middle skilled jobs, right? So I think that's one of the big changes that we are seeing come July of next year. What we are hoping for is that folks actually take this opportunity in order to do that reskilling that is needed.